This video looks at the AE value, the AE statistics, and it is connected to a blog post that I recently put up at Inform Racing called the AE Statistics in Horse Racing. And the AE statistics, or the AE value, looks at the set of results that you have for a system, or today I'm going to look at a set of jockeys and see how well they've performed against the chance of each horse, depending on the odds of each horse. So, for example, a horse at 2-1 has a 33% chance of winning. So if a jockey, as we're going to look at them today, if a jockey has a strike rate of 38% on 2-1 shots, then he has performed better than the 33% that 2-1 shots normally, the strike rate of a 2-1 shot. If, on the other hand, the jockey has a 20% strike rate on 2-1 shots, then he has underperformed on these types of horses, on these horses at 2-1. So we take all of the odds for each runner, and work out the percentage and compare this to how the percentage of the strike rate for the jockey. So I just want to look at a few jockeys here today, and some of them are quite interesting. And the first thing, this is the Inform Racing System Builder. First thing I'm going to do is just add the year, and I'm going to go back to 2020 or greater. So we're nearly at the end of 23, so that's nearly 4 years now. And we're going to add the jockey name. Okay. And just before I add each jockey, there's a couple of things I'm going to look at. Okay. So we can look at the overall statistics of a jockey, but what I want to look at is how a jockey has performed. This is the SP rank. And I'm going to change this from less or equal 2 to greater or equal 3. Okay. So this is now looking at how any jockey I'm going to look at has performed on the first and second favourites. So you'd expect each jockey to perform quite well on these two horses because they are the first and second favourites. Okay, so just to go through just to finalise, a number of one means the jockey in this case has performed to the average. Below 1 is poorly, and above 1 is a good performance. Okay, so let's look at Ryan Moore. Okay, so how has Ryan Moore performed in the last 4 years on the first and second favourites? Okay, so click apply rules, and possibly surprising to some, the AE value for Ryan Moore is 0.92, which is quite low, I have to say. So no one's disputing Ryan Moore is an excellent jockey, but Ryan Moore on the first and second favourites has performed well below the standard of number 1. Okay. If we change that to SP rank, now we go greater or equal 3. So this is now the third favourite or anything bigger. Apply the rules again for Ryan Moore. It's just about average. Okay, so you might want to consider Ryan Moore on shorter priced horses perhaps, but these are just some of the statistics you can come up with. We're not looking at the profit here. This is the BSP profit. We're not looking at that because the thing about the AE value is that it doesn't consider, there could be one big winner. You could have a BSP of 200-1, and that would falsely make the BSP profit overall excellent. Okay, and you might look at that and think, well, that's brilliant. But what we're looking at is how a jockey in this case has performed on horses that are priced the first two favourites, or then we're going to look at them as the third favourite and above. So Ryan Moore, average on outsiders, let's say outsiders, third favourite or bigger, and pretty poorly on the first two favourites. Okay, so let's have a look at another one here. We'll go for William Buick, the excellent jockey. Okay, and first of all, how he performs on the first two favourites over the last 4 years. 1.04. Okay, better than standard, better than average. Okay, So that's a positive, and we can look at greater or equal 3. And even better. So no problems with William Buick. If he's on a horse that's not one of the first two favourites, that shouldn't put you off thinking about William Buick as a positive jockey. Now I've got the list of the flat jockeys up here, and this is the top. This is the list as we have it at the moment, just towards the end of 2023. William Buick. Okay, Oisin Murphy we can take a look at. Okay, Oisin Murphy. First of all, on the first two favourites. Below average, below standard, below average, below the 1. Okay, 0.97. And SP rank greater or equal 3. So not the first two favourites when he's riding, not the first two favourites. Better, okay? So I think we all could look at a horse that's a short price or a first and second favourite and see the jockey on board. Now, I'm not saying the stats for Oisin Murphy were terrible, but it's just something you might sort of think about, just to think, is it how are the stats and how is it running? You can look at a jockey and you can use a system builder like this to just to find out how each jockey has been riding lately. Okay, Ross Orion, another excellent jockey, just hit 200 winners in the season very recently. So SP rank less or equal. So the first two favourites, Ross Orion, 1.13, excellent. So he's winning on the first and second favourites more than he should be, more than the statistics and the percentage chances suggest that he should. Okay, we can also take a look at him on bigger priced horses, and 107. So again, better than average on bigger priced horses, but certainly on the first two favourites, Ross Orion certainly hasn't been letting anyone down, let's say. So there's a couple of others I want to look at. James Doyle, another top jockey. I think he is down here only, what's that, top 10 perhaps, James Doyle. SP rank less or equal 2. Okay, so the first two favourites, James Doyle, 0.98, just below average. Greater or equal 3, so the third favourite or bigger. You could play around with all of these stats, etc. James Doyle, pretty low on horses third favourite and bigger. So that's, nothing great, no great stats there for James Doyle. One more we'll just take a look at here is Joe Fanning. And less or equal 2. So the first two favourites in the last 4 years, Joe Fanning 0.93. That is pretty poor. Okay. So Joe Fanning on a favourite or second favourite has been performing worse than he statistically should be. Okay. We can check him on greater or equal 3 and apply the rules. So him on outside or bigger priced horses, and he's slightly better, or better than average. So that's encouraging. But certainly on the first two favourites, that was quite a poor score. Now, what you can do with this, and you can add the include breakdowns here, and this is another part of the system builder. And if I just put SP rank greater or equal 1, so that's going to count everything. Joe Fanning is well known for riding front runners to success, okay, and he's well known for riding these front runners a lot of the time for the Johnstons, okay, Mark Johnston and previously and now Charlie Johnston. So if we add a couple of other rules here, so if we add the run style, this is the run style number that you get on the race card. Run style equals 1. So this is front runners, okay? If we add the trainer name, okay, if I just to get the Mark Johnston ones and the No, it's Charlie Johnston contains. Okay, Johnston. That'll get them all. So this is now, we've got SP rank grade to equal 1, so that's all SP ranks. This is Joe Fanning on front runners for the Johnstons, okay, over the last 4 years. And as we can see, 0.94. That's quite a low number, especially for a jockey renowned to be one of the best front running jockeys, and at the same time for the Johnstons, whether it was Mark Johnston before or Charlie Johnston now. Okay, so this is something you can have all the hearsay you like and hear people talking about things, but with this and using the breakdowns as you can then go through all of these particular categories. You could try Joe Fanning on front runners for the Johnstons at the courses, handicaps, non-handicaps, and anything else, distances as well. Very poor strike rate, very poor strike rate in 5 furlong races. So that would you wouldn't want to be backing probably Joe Fanning on a front runner for the Johnstons in over 5 furlongs. If we took the Johnstons out and just had Joe Fanning run style 1 for all trainers, then it's slightly improved, but it's still below the standard. He's still performing worse than the percentages and statistics say that he should be for the price of the horses that he's running on, okay? And you can just, again, we could take a look at the distances, if that makes any difference now. It's still down on the 5 furlong races, okay? So Joe Fanning on a front runner over 5 furlongs, probably worth avoiding. Okay, so that's just another way of using the breakdowns to use some filters for each jockey. But I'm just going to go back to a few more here now and look at a couple of jump ones. The 2 top jump jockeys at the moment are Sean Bowen. Okay. And this is going to be SP rank less or equal to. You don't have to do the rank. It's just a way of separating to see how each jockey does with the most fancied horses, okay? So Sean Bowen on the first and second favourites. 1.14, excellent. And Sean Bowen on third favourites or better. Apply the rules. Again, excellent. So Sean Bowen, obviously he's the leading jockey at the moment, but there's certainly no qualms about backing him in on any sort of price of horse. You can obviously you can look at the BSPs on the breakdowns right down the bottom. I think we've got them here, and you can also change any of the stats. You can filter the trainers that each jockey's been riding for over the last 4 years, the courses. The trainers, the run styles is another quite an interesting one. You can look at the run styles, see that perhaps Sean Bowen, despite the excellent stats for the AE value, he's very low on the number 4. So this is held up horses, okay? Low again on the horses just behind the winners, but as he's does well on horses in midfield, third, and horses up lead. I would suggest that perhaps you could even take you could add run styles or not equal run style 4, and I think you would get a better stats for Sean Bowen. And again, the trainer name, and you can sort these by the number of bets. So these are the jockeys he's had most wins for, and the strike rates and things like that. So you can filter these for each jockey if you wanted to. Okay, but basically we've got Sean Bowen. Excellent strike, excellent performance on the first 2 favourites and the horses that aren't the 2 favourites. Okay, so let's compare that now to Harry Cobden, who is the second or third top jockey at the moment, and we will look at the less or equal to. So the first 2 favourites for Harry Cobden. Okay, 1.07, excellent. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Obviously, he's riding a lot of runners for Paul Nicholls. A lot of those will be the first and second favourites, but be interesting to see how he does on the horses that aren't the fancied horses. or the two fancied horses. And if we apply the rules, so there we have 0.9. Okay, that is quite low for a top jockey who's riding high in the jockeys table for the jumps jockeys on horses that aren't the first two favourites. He does well on the horses that are the first two favourites, but you might want to be thinking now about Harry Cobden on horses that aren't the first two favourites, because his AE value is well below the average. Okay. Now, there's just one more jockey I wanted to look at, and that is going to be name always associated with Frankel, Tom Queally, and less or equal to. Excellent on Frankel, Tom Queally, but sort of fell from favour after a few years after Frankel was retired. But just want to see, I think he's an excellent jockey still. And Tom Queally on first two favourites is just where he should be. Okay. And on horses that are third favourite or bigger, 1.35. Look at that. Now, we can see as I said earlier, you can see the profit is 446 points. But the fact that he's had a 396 a winner at 396.7 BSP has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that the AE value for Tom Queally on third favourites or bigger is 1.35. That is huge. Okay. So Tom Queally is well outperforming the stats on horses that are third favourite or better. So if you can run through the list of jockeys at the moment and see how all of them are performing, and you might want to just start looking at a few jockeys and singling out these jockeys that are performing better than the stats suggest that they should be on the prices of the horses that they're running. Okay, so this is just a simple way, and these are some of my save systems over here. And when you run a system on the system builder, you get the AE figure for your set of results. So that's another way you can. It's more important really than the profit, because you can have a good profit because you might have had one big winner that skews all the results, but the AE value will tell you exactly how a horse or a jockey, or you can do this with trainers, or a set of results is outperforming or performing below the statistics, the average, or for the prices of the horses that the results are showing.